I'm Shala Namak from Wake Forest Family and Community Medicine,
And my name is Fadi. I'm a medical student here at Wake Forest School of Medicine.
and we're going to share with you our research about barriers to education and employment in our Arabic-speaking refugees and immigrant in the area, urban North Carolina. We would like to mention too our other two co-authors, which is Dr. Margaret Steiner and Dr. Parisia Ballard. There is nothing to disclose. For our objectives, we want to describe the social and demographic situation among our Arabic-speaking refugee and immigrant women in our area, urban North Carolina. Also explore the language barriers and enrollment in language classes, and document additional barriers to education and employment among this population. Also understand the assets to education and employment among this population and ways that community members and health practitioners can better assist this population in a successful transition. For methods, we had 50 Arabic-speaking refugee and immigrant women participating and who were living in urban North Carolina. They were recruited and consented for this study. Definitely, this study was IRB approved by Wake Forest Baptist Health. Survey took about 15 to 20 minutes over a phone interview in Arabic or English language, depends on the preference of the patient of the participant. Survey included demographic information, immigration history, social situation, and barriers to accessing education and employment in the United States.
And for the demographic of our participants, we looked at the country of origin. Uh, the majority were from Syria with 54%. Other participants were from Iraq, from Morocco, from Jordan, from Yemen. And that just shows the diversity of the population here in North Carolina. The ages ranged from 18 to 65 and above, with the majority being between the age of 30 to 39. We also looked at their social status and specifically focusing on the income. And we saw that for our participant, when we surveyed them, the majority of their income was between $1,000 and $1,999 a month. And other participants either mentioned unknown income or refused to answer that question with 42%. We also looked at their immigration status. We had 72% of the participants were refugees, 24 were immigrants, and 4% were citizens. We also surveyed our participants for their educational status. We looked at prior education in their home country, and we looked at current education in the United States. And we saw that for their prior education in home country, most of the participants, 23 out of 50, completed a primary school back in their home country. 13 out of those 50 completed secondary school, and 6 of them completed college. And when we looked at their education in the United States, we saw that 35 participants were enrolled in English classes since moving to the United States, and that's the majority of our population. And 21 of them mentioned that they were faced by barriers that affected the continuity of their education. Now that we looked at their education, that we surveyed their education, we decided to talk about their education in the United States. And we saw that 66% of them were unemployed. But what we found interesting that out of those 66%, 56% mentioned their current occupation as a homemaker instead of unemployment, because homemaker for them was an actual job. They had to take care of the house, they had to take care of family members. So that was basically a full-time job for them. Other occupations included students, business owners, service jobs, manufacturing jobs. And now for the exciting part of our study was the results. And as we mentioned earlier, we focus on the barriers to education and employment. And as you can see, there's a wide varieties of barriers, with the majority being the need of childcare, English proficiency, lack of transportation. But comparing those barriers to other studies, our surveys identified new barriers that they were not emphasized in other studies. And those barriers included need of childcare, which was one of the most significant or one of the most mentioned barrier in our population. We also had pregnancy. We had need for financial means, health problems for either the participant or one of the family members. We had lack of time and geographic distance. And just to clarify something about the numbers mentioned here, each participant was allowed to choose up to 3 obstacles that they face, or 3 barriers, and that's why our numbers don't add up to 50, because they were up to 3. And same thing for when it came to identifying with the community. Um, each participant could choose up to 3 options as well. And we saw that the majority felt that they identified with their religious community. The rest mentioned friends, family, and we believe that this is really important for us when we want to support that population, that we go to the communities that they feel that they're well connected with. Um, We also surveyed this population for special skills that they had, because we believe that these skills present crucial assets to the community that we could further explore and utilize them to provide this population with job opportunities. And those job opportunities will not only help them financially, but it will also provide them with an opportunity to introduce their culture, the culture that they brought with them from back home, to this new community that they now live in. And we saw that from those special skills, we had cooking, and the numbers in this table, each participant was allowed to choose one special skill. So we can see that 15 mentioned cooking as a special skill that they had. There were a variety of combinations, and some participants mentioned other skills, such as makeup, hairstyling, baking, teaching, gardening, and all these skills could be further utilized and as mentioned earlier, could be further utilized to provide job opportunities and to better assist this population and the communities they live in.
So in conclusion, minimizing these barriers that prevent these Arabic-speaking refugee and immigrant women from learning English or attaining employment will require coordinated efforts across the local community, the county, and even the state. And raising awareness about the need of this population and suggesting venues to connect them to a supportive local infrastructure and resources can close the gap in the social determinants of health. So we as physicians, STFM and beyond, hopefully will be part of this connecting piece of this population to the community, and to help them and assist them in getting back to education and getting employment. Thank you very much.
Thank you.